What's up guys, JV2017 here, and today I'm going to share my overall thoughts on the Contraptions Workshop DLC for Fallout 4. As you all know, this is the 4th DLC pack out of 6 to come to the game, and I've spent around 5 to 10 hours playing this new content. At the $5 standalone price, you get around 100 new items that allow you to create complex machines within your settlements. The two main features are the ability to manufacture items like a factory and build ball tracks to create complex Rube Goldberg-like machines. I feel like I've only scratched the surface with what can be done with these new tools, and I've already passed that $1 per hour of entertainment mark, which is the idea that you should get at least 1 hour of genuine new fresh play time out of DLC for each dollar that you spend. So for this DLC, it should be at least 5 hours for the $5 that it costs. Of course, you could have got it within the season pass, and even cheaper if you got the $30 season pass back when that was available. I'm going to spend a minute to compare this DLC to Wasteland Workshop, because I think we have to. We've had 2 Workshop DLCs so far. We're about to have another one next month. But I think this DLC has so much more potential than Wasteland Workshop did, and comparatively speaking, that DLC gave us the ability to cage animals and set up arena fights and a few other cosmetic items. In my review for it, I felt it was really uninspired and not that compelling. It almost felt like it was just, random things smashed together and given to you in a Workshop DLC. And I'll admit that these 2 Workshop DLCs aren't that different. You get around the same amount of items, but they serve different purposes. However, the biggest difference for me is that these new features are not cut and dry with Contraptions. They're not one and done Workshop tools. It's not point A to point B like it was with creating cages or setting up arenas. There was one way to do those things, and once you did it, you had to keep doing it if you wanted to keep getting things out of that DLC. And in this DLC, there's no one right way to create a factory. There might be an efficient layout or a setup that uses the least amount of materials, but that's not really the point. With this DLC, I feel like a kid with a new set of Legos building my factories with the creative reign over how I want to build them and how I want these layouts to be. It's like giving us a ton of tools and saying, hey, build what you want to build. And that sounds obvious. Well, it should be. It should be absolutely obvious. That's what settlement building is all about. That's why the system's in the game. And I think they got away from that with Wasteland Workshop. However, I think they got more towards that with Contraptions, and it looks like Vault Tech is going to be more of that. At least it appears so from the small stuff that we have seen. And keep in mind, this is all coming from someone who did not like the original settle building all that much. When the game first came out, I've explained this before, I would build what I needed, and then I would get out of my settlements and my workshop and go explore the world, because that's what I was more interested in, more accustomed to with Fallout games. I guess you could say I just love the complexity of what can be done with this specific Workshop DLC. One of the biggest criticisms I've seen about this DLC on the 3 or so videos I've made so far are that it's useless. A lot of people think that this DLC is useless, it doesn't serve any purpose, and I would argue that it goes a lot more towards what it should have been in the first place in terms of these DLCs, like I said earlier. I think that these DLCs should be giving us tools, sandbox tools, to go and create something unique and different that nobody else has created, or, follow a guide on YouTube to make something really cool, really cool stuff like that, and then share it. That's the original purpose of this stuff and the original purpose of settlement building. I think they're getting a lot more towards that. And so to say that it's useless, I understand if people are frustrated, they want to make a factory, and they say, well, if I'm making a factory and I'm manufacturing these items, I'm not getting more materials out of this, I'm spending materials. Why would I want to make this what I get out of this? And this reminds me of my mindset when I first started playing the game and I started upgrading my settlement, trying to get all those, really high level traders, and then I was like, wait, what's the point of this? Why did I invest all this time in this? I'm not better, I don't have better weapons that I could get otherwise. What is the point of all of this? And I don't think there is supposed to be a set singular goal. It's supposed to be, here's the tools, you go and create what you want to create. And that turns people off. I understand. There might not be a purpose for this DLC for you if you don't want to go out and explore it. The other thing I see people complaining about is that, why would I want to get this? Why would I want to pay money for this when I could get free mods? And I don't think necessarily the argument this time around is that we have similar mods that can do the same thing. I know that was a huge complaint for Wasteland Workshop, but this time around, I don't necessarily think we have specific mods that do, manufacturing machines and factories. You guys may find something out there that's similar, but I don't think we have something that's, people would say carbon copied or very similar to what, has already been released by mod creators instead of Bethesda. And so I think they do offer a unique product, but also that $5 comes with a guarantee that a lot of people I don't think realize. Number one, it's not going to brick your console. You know, Bethesda made the content, and so for the most part, most of the time, you have a 99% guarantee it's not going to ruin your console, it's not going to ruin your save games. If it does, they're going to fix it. And that's kind of the other thing with Bethesda, with $5 with their content, they're going to fix it. If there's something wrong with it, it's going to get fixed. You don't get that guarantee with a random mod creator. So those are just some of the main things that I see people complaining about. I'm really just echoing what I see on my channel in, you know, the comment section, because that's where I get most of these things that I talk about. And also there's the complaint that people are annoyed that they're releasing Workshop DLC in favor of story DLC. It's like opportunity cost. Why did they spend time making these small DLC packs, 3 of them for $5 each, when they could have just made one more story DLC for $15? And, you know, we can argue about that on and on, but I think we should really wait to talk about that until we have all the DLC. We can really kind of talk about the full value of everything that we've had and whether we like it or not. But finally, I'd like to wrap up this video by talking about whether it's worth $5. Is this DLC pack worth $5? And you're pretty much going to get the same answer that I gave in my Wasteland Workshop review. This is totally worth $5 if you like settlement building and you like this part of the game. And even for me, I think this is worth my $5 because I don't like settlement building, but it gave me a lot of cool tools to kind of get back into it and kind of draw me into this mode that I didn't like that much before. And so I think intrinsically speaking, this is absolutely, like, no question, no opinions, this is worth $5. It may not be worth $5 to you, but compare this to a cosmetic DLC in some other game where you pay $5 for a skin or $5 for a taunt, or maybe you pay $5 for a skin and a taunt together. You get a ton more stuff for $5 in this Fallout game. It's just whether you like it or not. And that's kind of how it always is when you talk about value with a video game or new content. So I didn't mean to give you a this way or the highway kind of vibe with that opinion right there, but I do think this is worth $5. I'd still like to hear from you guys in the comments below. Was this worth your $5 if you paid for it? Did you feel like you got the value out of it in your season pass, or maybe you bought it standalone? Or is this not worth it for you? Let me know what you're thinking in the comment section below. Alright guys, today I shared my review of the Contraptions Workshop DLC pack. Next time we will cover more Fallout on my channel, so stay tuned for Fallout 4 tips and tricks videos. If you learned something new or enjoyed this video, remember to hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe for more Contraptions DLC coverage, my survival mode live streams, Bethesda.net mods, and general tips and tricks videos. Talk to you guys next time. Peace.